Okay, y'all. So Game of Thrones season 1, episode 9. No, episode 8. Is it on 9? Yeah, episode 9. So basically, John has found out that Ned has been captured and everything like that. He's all upset. Like I was saying, I think that happened in the previous episode, but he's all upset. Also, I forgot to mention that they had pulled some dead bodies from beyond the wall, okay? And the bodies that came in, and they was going to burn the bodies, but they wanted to examine the bodies first. And Ghost, in the middle of the night, Ghost was like alerting John to get up, because something was going on. And it led into the Lord Commander's chambers, and it was a dead body, like a zombie, a White Walker. That's what they are. But I don't know if he was a White Walker. But the dead is coming to life. Okay, they coming alive, and was trying to attack the Lord Commander. Okay, and John had basically killed it or whatever, and they ended up burning the bodies. So we get to Catherine has to go to Lord Frey to try and broker some type of deal so that Rob and her can get through his gate so they can get to where they gotta go, aka on their way to King's Landing. Okay, but the deal is that Arya is going to have to marry one of his sons when she become of age. Rob is going to have to marry one of his daughters once the battle is done. And Theon was cracking up jokes on it because Theon was like, you must ain't seen Lord Frey kids or whatever, his daughters. Like, I guess they all look hideous or whatever, looking like him. So all his kids look like him. A damn mess, right? So, but Rob agreed just so they can get, to where they had to go or whatever the case may be. So Tywin tells Tyrion that he's going to have to go into battle on the front lines because they're going to have to go against Rob's army or whatever. So half of Rob's army goes towards Tywin's camp and half of the army goes towards Jaime's camp. Okay, so they having a little battle or whatever the case may be. They about to have a battle and everything like that. And once they, I guess, before they had the battle. So Tyrion, Bronn, and this girl Shay that he had linked up with or whatever, he's starting to really like her, whatever. She's supposed to be, a high class prostitute, but not really. He just was like, you only gonna be with me, nobody else, don't be dealing with me. So he basically trying to get to know her and this and the third, blah 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 and all that. And then he tells us about a story about how Tywin don't really deal with him like that. Like his father always hated that he got girls for real. Like he basically had to trick a girl and pay a girl to basically give him something for the first time. And Tyrion said he ended up marrying the girl the next day because he was in love. And come to find out, the father basically hired this girl to, get with him and stuff like that. And it kind of broke his heart. So, and I say that to say because in the rest of the episodes, you're going to see how he going to try and, how he playing it with Shay or whatever the case may be because he dealing with the girl Shay or whatever. So, let me see what else is going on. So yeah, Ned is still locked up in captivity down in the dungeons. So Varys is trying to tell him look, your daughter was up there pleading for your life or whatever the case may be. All you got to do is just let Cersei know that you're not going to reveal her secret because I'm pretty sure that she would like you better tamed than, you being gone or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Come and try to make another peace deal. So they basically trying to tell him that just try to make a peace deal with Cersei, whatever the case may be, so you get yourself out of this whole situation. But Ned is I don't really care about all that. I don't really care about my life. I've been in many wars, so when it's time to go, it's time to go. I'm not even scared of death for real. So then Varys was well, what about your child or whatever the case may be? Think about your kids or whatever, because the girls is still in King's Landing. Okay. So, it was another thing that I forgot. So, back at the wall, because I wanted to bring up the point with John. So, back at the wall, he was having a conversation with the maester at the Citadel of the Night's Watch or whatever. He says the maester Citadel or whatever. But he an important person who has a lot of knowledge of old hair, right? So he over there like talking to him or whatever the case may be, and he basically telling him like, look, like I have a family too. I have a family lineage and all this and that. But he's like, he basically like threw all that family lineage away and came and became part of the Night's Watch and stuff like that. He said that he didn't find out about what happened to his family, and so after he had already became the Night's Watch, he couldn't even go and claim his, territory, his throne, or anything like that. So John was like, "Who is you for real?" And it comes to find out that he is Aegon Targaryen, Egg Targaryen's brother. Egg is the one who is traveling with. If you watch a Night of the what is it? The Knights of the Kingdom, whatever, Knights of the Seven Kingdoms. That's who Egg is. That's who his brother is, okay? Pretty much. So he is basically a Targaryen, but because he had moved to the Night's Watch or whatever, or went to the Night's Watch before Robert's Rebellion was over, he ended up not being able to claim the throne. But he was basically saying like he pissed off too, like how his whole family was executed and murdered, and they even killed a little baby. So he think that they had killed Daenerys and Viserys and Rhaegar, but Rhaegar, they didn't know that he was born or whatever, and that comes later on in later seasons or whatever the case may be. I guess I'll reveal that, but it's just ironic that Jon Snow was actually talking to this guy. I found out this information right now, right? So, what else happened in this episode? So basically, yeah, they just planning on going to war. They setting up everything, whatever the case may be. Khal Drogo is sick, y'all, like really sick. So Dany ends up getting this lady to do some witch magic and all that. And the lady do some witch magic. Khal Drogo people, they dipped off on her for real because they like, I don't know why you doing all this and doing all that. And then she ended up having contractions. And she ended up going into labor or whatever the case may be. And yeah, she ended up going into labor. But the crazy thing is, like, in this episode is that, so they had brought Ned out from the dungeons or whatever the case may be so he can confess his crimes or whatever. Arya is on the Scepter Baelor statue. Sansa is by Joffrey's side or whatever. So he basically, like, Ned should have sat in front of all those people. He should have been like, he was like, he basically said that Joffrey was the real king and he was a traitor and yada, yada, yada. And tell you why, Joffrey had basically chopped off his fucking head, like, ordered his execution in front of Sansa and all of them. But over there where Rob and them at, they had the battle or whatever the case may be, and they end up capturing Jaime. So now they can't even use Jaime as leverage. Well, the Lannisters can't use nobody as leverage other than the girls to get Jaime back, which is crazy because now Rob is going crazy because they chopped off his father head for real. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel about this episode. I didn't like this episode on the strength of just Joffrey alone. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think, and I'll see y'all in the next one.